Good morning. Today I am going to talk on how to prevent plagiarism. First of all, these views are mine and do not necessarily represent of my society or institution those I belong to. I have no conflict of interest to declare. Publication is the final stage of research. Researchers publishes their work for sharing their discoveries and knowledge to gain recognition, prestige, degree, promotion, and fame. Publication process needs integrity. Misconduct may have a detrimental effect on credibility of research and reliability of the scientific literature. Fraudulent data and plagiarized manuscript may affect the medicine and harm the patients. In 2012, PubMed revealed that there is more than 67% retraction where activity. Retraction means the withdrawal of the article from the website. Retraction were attributed to misconduct, including fabrication of data, duplication publication, and plagiarism. Prof marked that the retraction based on fraud have increased tenfold since 1975. Availability of internet access, young scientists are now publishing their research by copy, cut, paste, or preparation of manuscript by some modifications. Nature in 2010 published news that 23% of submitted articles in its one journal were rejected because of plagiarism. Research analyzed on more than 4,000 articles from PubMed and Web of Science between 1982 and 1911 found that 22% articles were plagiarized. Plagiarism is the third most serious scientific misconduct. According to law, plagiarism is a criminal act and punishable. Many academics often plagiarize because they are not sure what constitutes plagiarism and how to avoid plagiarism. Due to insufficient education and inconsistent enforcement, plagiarism is still prevailing in academia worldwide. Now the definition of the plagiarism. What is plagiarism? According to Committee of Publication Ethics, plagiarism is a reproduction of work without proper attribution or permission, including writing same article or including writing same article in different language. World Association of Medical Editors defines plagiarism as use of other published or unpublished idea or works without attribution, and passing them off and presenting them as new and original. According to Office of Research Integrity, plagiarism is a theft of intellectual property. There are many definitions, but I am not going to details definition. So now the classification of plagiarism. There are the minor plagiarism and major plagiarism. Actually, these minor and major plagiarism are based on extent of plagiarized content. There is another classification, intentional or unintentional plagiarism. Intentional plagiarism, when work is submitted in the form of copy, cut, paste without proper attribution intentionally. Unintentional or accidental plagiarism means using some other's work with wrong paraphrasing or improper citation. Another classification, that is the mosaicism or patchy writing, when some words in a sentence are changed by using synonyms, keeping the same grammatical structure of original text. Another is the self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism, when work is submitted from own previous work without citation, is called self-plagiarism. Two or more articles from a research thesis using the same introduction or material method or result is called self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is considered as the salami slicing. You know, every slice of the salami has the same component of the big salami. So, if we make a research article from a different 2 or 3 articles from a single research, it means using the same introduction, same material methods, and same conclusion. So it will be like the salami slicing. It is somewhat like plagiarism is somewhat like the piracy. So what is the difference between the piracy and the plagiarism? Piracy, it is unauthorized use of word without permission. And the plagiarism means unauthorized use of word without citation. It is, of course, a form of piracy. But in piracy, work is reproduced without any change, keeping author name in place. But in plagiarism, reproduce work without attribution of the original author's name. In piracy, author deprived only money. But in plagiarism, author lost money as well as the work. So plagiarism is a dangerous form of piracy. Now, what are the causes of plagiarism? Why we plagiarize? Researcher has the tendency to increase the number of publications. That's time plagiarism happens. Pressure to publish with lack of time, tight deadline and other competing pressure, laziness, but over-ambitious for promotion and grant, deficiency in accuracy, integrity and honesty, lack of writing skills, another cause of plagiarism, lack of proficiency in English, lack of awareness on referencing system that causes the plagiarism, lack of knowledge on what constitutes plagiarism, no concept of intellectual property rights and copyrights that causes the plagiarism, and no respect to readers. What are the consequences of plagiarism? Plagiarism is considered unethical practice and criminal act, and it is punishable. Punishment range from apology letter, retraction of publication. I said before, the retraction means the withdrawal of the article from the website or from the video. Retraction of published article, and in extreme cases, criminal charge against author. In academia, disciplinary action considered plagiarism as downgraded, cease their degree, terminate from the job. Plagiarism is strongly criticized by peer reviewer and readers. And some journal sanction ban of publication of that author, that plagiarized author. Plagiarism tarnish the reputation of authors, lead to loss of funding and professional integrity. When plagiarism is detected after the publication, the consequences is grave. Not only tarnish the reputation of plagiarist, but also tarnish the reputation of author, reviewer, journals, and the institution to which the plagiarist belongs to. How can we avoid plagiarism? This is really a question. First, we have to follow the author's guideline according to journal. And we have to take sufficient time to complete the work. And we have to avoid copy, cut, paste. Understand the whole concept and write the new idea in own words. Avoid writing similar kind of article at the same period of time. And we should avoid submitting a varying number of articles to different journals at the same time. We should always use the plagiarism checker. And sentence can be validated by paraphrasing, quoting, and referencing. We have dilemma, how can we prevent plagiarism? So it is the very conventional and very good way to validate the sentence by paraphrasing, quoting, and referencing. Sentence should be paraphrases and summarize using own word and provide reference or quoting the referencee. I am giving you some example. This is one example, paraphrasing and summarizing. How can we paraphrase and summarize the sentence by our own words? First paragraph, you see, this is the original writing. On being found guilty of plagiarism, psychiatrist London had to step down as director of Center for Public Engagement in Mental Science in the institute where he was employed and was suspended for practice for 3 months by General Medical Council. So you can summarize and paraphrase in this way. Due to plagiarism, General Medical Council sanctioned ban of 3 months practice of renowned psychiatrist and director of the Center for Public Engagement in Mental Science. Same things, but you paraphrase in your own words. So, and you have put the reference. So it will not be plagiarism. So you can avoid plagiarism by doing the paraphrasing and summarizing. Here is another example. You see, Millennium Trump at the opening of night speech of Republican National Convention in 2016 kidnapped almost word for word from Michelle Obama's speech, which was delivered 8 years before in 2008 at Democratic Convention. Everybody knows this news. This is the news. So we can avoid plagiarism in other way by quotation and the reference. You see, second para, the same writing is written here and within the quotation. Quote, Millennium Trump at the opening night speech of Republican National Convention in 2016 kidnapped almost word for word from Michelle Obama's speech, which was delivered 8 years before in 2008 at the Democratic Convention, unquote, and reference, you see. So this is not the plagiarism. This is not the plagiarism. If you keep the sentence within the quotation mark, or you can keep last one, you can see it is italic form, same sentence within quotation and reference and italic form. So it will not be plagiarism. So we should check, we use the plagiarism checker. There are the many type of plagiarism checker, as for example, cross-check, authenticate, then Turnitin, eBlast, Safe Assign, plagiarism.net, Grammarly.com. Now question is, what percentage plagiarism is accepted? Actually, there should be 0% plagiarism in any professional article, as plagiarism is plagiarism. Turnitin said that the below 15% similarity in the article do not consider it to be plagiarism. If 15% of similarity, if 15% of the similarities take from the text derived from a chunk of continuous sentence, that will be considered as plagiarism. But from the whole article, 15% is accepted. Previously, men are dishonest in the academia and plagiarize more than the female. But recent studies have found that there is no differences between men and female in cheating in their writing. Young students plagiarize more than the age student. Foreign students plagiarize more than local students. Yes, I have many foreign students and I have seen that the foreign students cheat more. They use the mobile phone and writing. It's very common in my institution, foreign students plagiarize most. But the Bangladeshi students, they are very they are very very honest in their academic writing. This report. It is not my report. It is international report. It is worldwide happening. Foreigner students plagiarize more than the local student. In other countries as well, same scenario. Sometimes cultural difference helps in plagiarism. As for example, Chinese phenomenon. Chinese consider copy cut paste during learning process not as abusive. They don't consider it as abusive. They consider it as imitation. So they allow plagiarism in their student, in school, college, and university level. But in America, writing is a creative. One missing reference could get someone expelled. But a survey of Rutgers University on 16,000 students from 31 reputed universities from US and Canada reported that 66% have plagiarized at least one in life. And the statistics says that business school plagiarized most. They stood first in the list. And following the engineering student followed. Physical science, third position, and the medical student is the fourth position. And the social science and humanities plagiarized less. This is the news clipping from Bangladesh that the গবেষণা প্রবন্ধ নকল করার অভিযোগে খুলনা প্রকৌশলী ও প্রযুক্তি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে তাদের 3 শিক্ষককে দায়িত্ব থেকে অব্যাহতি দান করেছেন। And they are the professor and the associate professor level teacher. And this is another news clipping that the editor of the Chicago Journal alleged that the associate professor of mass communication and journalism department and a lecturer of criminology department copied from the journal articles without proper citation. Here is another news clipping that the Mr. Omar Farooq, an associate professor of Islamic history and culture department, is facing an allegation of plagiarizing his PhD thesis from research of two Turkish professors. Here is another news clipping, the plagiarism detected in a group and 6 article by sociology department teachers. And in 2003, the university had blocked her promotion on grounds of similar plagiarism charge. So there is plagiarism exists in Bangladesh, but we discuss less about the plagiarism. And there is no awareness about the plagiarism, but plagiarism exists in Bangladesh. There is no data from Bangladesh. And what is the I have shown here the university teachers' position in plagiarism. What is the condition in the medical student? Therefore, I have done a research. We don't have any data from the medical, from any education system. So therefore, I developed a brief educational resource on plagiarism and taught by 2-hour interactive class on 50 postgraduate medical students and evaluated by pre-test and post-test questionnaire. I did this experiment. This is the first research on plagiarism in medical. To understand the current knowledge and attitude of learner on plagiarism and how proposed text resource improve the knowledge of academics. This is the result. Some result I will express here. In a question of the Committee of Publication Ethics, Office of Research Integrity, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, and the World Association of Medical Ethics. In this question, before intervention, 0%, that means nobody can answer this question. And after education, 2 hour education, they understand the meaning of these. And at the question of the software, plagiarism software, whether they understand it and know the plagiarism software, as for example, authenticate, targeting, cross-ref, only the 7% answer they know, they heard the term, this plagiarism software. But after intervention, after education, they know 100% answer, they know the meaning of the authenticate, targeting and cross-ref. Here you say, at the question of the copy-paste in the article, you see orange color, before and after. Before intervention, 12% only say that they did copy-paste in the writing. But after, they did only 12%, but 6%, sorry, 6% only say. But the after intervention, we got that result that they didn't do any plagiarism in their article. And at the question of the, do you think the same article can submit to another journal if delayed decision delayed? In this question, almost the 90% students, they are confused about what to do if delayed the decision by the editor, whether they submit another journal to publish that article. But after the intervention, that means after the education, they understand they shouldn't submit same article into the another journal if the decision delayed. And at the question of do you think same article can be published in another language? Before intervention, before education, they are confused, most of them confused, almost 70% confused what should they do. But after education, they understand they should not submit, they should not prepare article, same article and publish same article in different languages. As for example, I wrote English, then I wrote same article in Bangla and published Bangla newspaper or Bangla magazine journal. Or I know in Chinese, same article is published by Chinese. It shouldn't. All the students after education understand that they shouldn't do this practice. At the question of do you think 2 or 3 articles can be made from research or same thesis? Most of the students say yes, they can. 50% students, that is 46% students say yes, they can. But let alone understand, after education, they understand they should not do the 2 or 3 articles from the same research or same thesis, because it will be the salami slicing. Here's another result, that at the question of how to prevent plagiarism, there are some choices. 36% only could say that the sentence should be paraphrase and reference. And some say it, 52% most, 50% more than 50% say the sentence should be quotation and reference. But after education, after intervention on plagiarism, the 72% said that sentence should be paraphrase and reference, as well as the quotation or quotation and reference with reference. So my conclusion that the proposed text on plagiarism had positive impact on students. Knowledge of the students were increased significantly by the text module on plagiarism. And intervention of plagiarism education will improve the awareness of postgraduate medical students. So my recommendation is institutions should arrange awareness program, workshop, short course on plagiarism, and provide plagiarism detection software to library department to prevent plagiarism. In Bangladesh, probably few institutions have this plagiarism software in their library. And my final recommendation is the institution should formulate policy against plagiarism. We don't have any policy really. It is very unfortunate. So these are the references I used. And this is the prize, European Network of Academic Integrity. I was awarded. I am a winner of 2018 prize of European Network of Academic Integrity Prize. And this year 3 were awarded. One was I. And thank you for the patience.
Thank you. Many thanks, Professor Shamima, Lasker, for your informative presentation and very nice presentation. And you have shown so many aspects of plagiarism, education, research, and different databases also you mentioned. So before I go to you, so if from participant side, so if you have any question to Professor Lasker, you can ask, please.
Okay, thank you very much for presenting a very useful paper. And your paper has very deep implications if applied. My question is that do you have a percentage of writers who produces original papers? Do you have a statistics for them or their numbers who produces authentic independent writing? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your nice question. Actually, there is no data from Bangladesh. One thing, I did a small, that means the pilot experiment on the medical student, postgraduate medical student, and actually they have no prior publication. They don't have any prior publication. So I don't have I cannot gather this information, what percentage they are the original article. But we can say from the international data that 22% or the 60% are plagiarized. They refuse that article from their journal. So if the 65%, so the original article is the opposite, that means the 45% original. So they published that article.
This is not only in Bangladesh, but in all countries there are plagiarism.
Sure.
And I think your paper will improve to some degree if you discuss this situation, that who are the original writers, what is that percentage worldwide.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion. I will incorporate, I will research again and incorporate this one.
Thank you, Professor Lasker. Fantastic presentation. But some things, coming to my mind about, you're talking about awareness to stop the plagiarism which is there. And your respondents are only medical students. You did not have any presentation of whole of Bangladesh or whole of a country or something like that. But more concern is about the solutions of the problem of plagiarism. We had plagiarism in Bangladesh in law faculty in Dhaka University in the master's program, and 67 students did not have the results because of plagiarism, and they had to write the thesis again, and again the teachers had to check those scripts whether it is plagiarized or not, and then they passed. So it is a long process. They had to wait nearly 1 year for that. So what else? So it came to my mind, what else solutions should be there? Yes, you said about awareness building. How do you do that awareness building? That is my question to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Shamima, for your question. And actually, awareness, it is a one option, awareness, because we don't have any awareness at all, and we don't have policy at all. But this is the one solution, the awareness. This is the awareness. This system is awareness. It is the tool to organize seminar, conference on plagiarism. This is one tool. I cannot say you that don't plagiarize. You plagiarized this article. I cannot say. If I give you knowledge, you will be aware. No, I can do this. This is one way. Yeah.
I was thinking, the mindset of the researchers has to be changed. And how to change those mindset. I'm also thinking, how to do that. And I'm thinking, media can play a very big role. The plays and, some things calling that this will happen to you. And preventive measures also saying that, look, if you do plagiarism, you will be given this, these are the punishments. And, we give them preventive measures and also measures which we, shaming them, that if you do plagiarism, your post will not be upgraded and you will be degraded or something like that. I don't know how to do it. That is my question.
Actually, media there, I have shown some news clipping. That means media are active on their responsibility. We Bioethics Society, Bangladesh Bioethics Society, still not active in this arena. We academics don't do anything on this line, but the media, you have seen, they publish in paper. That's why I can show you. This is the proof. Plagiarism exists. They are already working, and yeah.
So I think Bangladesh Bioethics Society has to do plenty of work on this arena, and we have to find out ways, more seminars, workshops on plagiarism, so that more people know about the consequences of plagiarism. Thank you.
I just would like to supplement Professor Shamima, because this is an issue of plagiarism, and in fact it is a very vital issue from academic arena. Somehow, somewhere, to some extent, questions raised on quality and quantity, and that is where plagiarism comes, and plagiarism appears before us. And first question by Professor Shamima. So, you asked Professor Shamima that how actually we would like to prevent and how we can organize awareness program on plagiarism. So there are some ways. Actually, Professor Shamima said that, okay, this is one of the ways how could we make organized awareness program. So like seminar, conference, and different meetings, and so many academic conferences. And other issue is vital role is played by the library. So this is the library actually, from where actually the awareness program would organize. Say for example, Dhaka University, you have the plagiarism software, and this is Turnitin. And Turnitin actually produces two types of software. One is Authenticate and the other one is Turnitin, in the same name. In the company's name, the software name is also Turnitin. Turnitin has two forms. One form is, if you, say for example, you prepare one manuscript and you want to check your plagiarism, then you just upload it in the software. This is a proprietary software, I must say. There are two types of software, open source and proprietary source. Open source software, there, if you go through the open source plagiarism software, there are so many limitations, like time limitations. Say for example, if you just check your manuscript with open access plagiarism software, then might be after 15 minutes, they may say that, okay, finish, you just come out. And the 1,000 words or 500 words or 1,500 words, not more than that. So these type of limitations actually they have in open source plagiarism software, but in proprietary software you do not have that, like Turnitin and Authenticate. Turnitin in Bangladesh, you see, So plagiarism is to some extent awareness program gradually building, because of I know there are even schools, they also have a plagiarism software, not like the government or primary level school, like American school, and two schools in Dhaka, and there are 9 or 10 universities. I know that they have plagiarism professional and proprietary software, so by which they regularly use their software and they check their manuscript and then they submit it and then they finalize to publish in the respective journal. So this is how. And I'm from ICT, so we have identified software. This is very professional software, and once you check, then there is no option to recheck again. So because this is fully professional organization, but in Turnitin there are some options. I think once you check, then if you find some problems are there on plagiarism, then you can rephrase it. You can prepare it again, and then again you check it. Then finalize your manuscript. Then you submit it to the respective journals. So this is how actually plagiarism is working, and it is, although it is a new, but with the emergence of the internet and technology, actually basically, then in fact plagiarism is like the stealing ideas, data and words. So they steal everything, but when they steal and when they capture that information in their own manuscript and they claim it as his or her own. So this is not right thing, and this is something plagiarism. So that's actually Professor Shamima wanted to actually make us understand that what is plagiarism, how to prevent, and she also mentioned 2 database names, Web of Science and PubMed. These are very important databases for the people actually, for those who actually involved with medical research, social science research, environment research and climate research. So these 2 things, Web of Science, what they do, they have indexed 13,200 very renowned international journals. So once you publish in their journals and impact of that journal, so reference H index and the impact of journal, so it is going up. So Scopus also another database that is produced by Elsevier Science. So so this is how it is working. So it is still I think that it is at infant level, but we have time, and when we need to work with the quality, so I'm sure that plagiarism will be prevented. And thank you. Please.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful and knowledgeable presentation. As you mentioned in your presentation that there is no any policy for the plagiarism. So personally, what if you were in that place, what would be the punishment to the people who do the plagiarism?
Okay, thank you for a nice question. Being a student, you were brave enough to ask me question, and it's a very relevant question. Thank you once again. Okay. Actually, we don't have policy. It's true. I have done an experiment. This is my research work, and this is the pilot experiment. So I have another in-depth experiment in this line on plagiarism on the medical school, different medical school throughout the Bangladesh. I will do, and it is granted already by the Director General of Director General of the Health Sciences. It is granted. Okay, and this will be designated to the policy level. So it goes to the policy level. How they so it is the I am starting. Okay, from the Bangladesh Bioethics Society. And
I've been meaning to also add to what Professor Mansoor and Mr. Prof said. And basically, there should be a way to go about it in a systematic manner. So, Bioethics Society can link up with the UGC and with the different ethical committees of the government, and perhaps propose a committee of ICT, Bioethics Society, UGC member, and others, and then think of a strategy, because it should be part of the curriculum of any university. What is plagiarism, how do you prevent plagiarism, and what are the penalties of plagiarism. Students don't know. So I have seen in many cases my students just cut and paste, and they say it was there, madam. And also the question of a reference. Many of them don't know how to do the references also. These are two major issues which we are looking at by the academicians. Now, if you talk about policy, it can be only through the UGC. It's a policy or a university policy or a strategy. So these are the ways we have to move forward. Yes, use the media, use this awareness. Those are actual actions. But if you want to go forward as on a strategic basis, then you have to involve both the key players, the key stakeholders, and then go on. That means some work for Bioethics Society and our Madam President and you, Madam. So you have to organize a round table of people who are interested and who are involved and who want to help. So UGC, chairman of different universities or vice president or provost, whoever, and then start the dialogue. And then you start coding. It's a long term process. It takes at least 1 year, but then they will come to either a policy of UGC or a policy of that university. It should be clear-cut, defined, and known to the students also. So this is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Tahira Ahmed, for your compliments, and I'm giving a little compliment of you that the actually policy formation on plagiarism not only for the university, it should be for the school, college, everywhere, every research center, everywhere. So yeah, for the university, when we disseminate our result, that will be, and there will be the one of the representative from the University Grant Commission, one of the representative from the Education Ministry, one of the representative from the Health Ministry. There are many policymakers will be here, there, and they will take policy. It is not a very easy step. It is a very hard step, but it will. We start, just start.
In fact, what I would say that on plagiarism, there are no policies still now, but I believe that there are some guidelines because of if you submit any manuscript for publication in any journal, so once it is rejected, so and if you see the reason for rejection, then you find that yes, plagiarism guidelines are there. And then if you see that when students, they prepare their thesis, and once it is go to the committee or once it is go to the supervisor, and if he or she feels that it should be checked by the plagiarism software what they have, and once it is checked, so plagiarism is there. So this is how actually, so I mean the guidelines, if you, yes madam, please.
About catching a thief after he has quit. What I am saying is prevent the incident itself, because they are small, they are still children or they are young adults. They may not know. Many people don't know. Because cut and paste has been going on, and the thing they still make do. So the thing is, inform them. This is the thing, that if this is how to do, and if you do, this is how you avoid plagiarism, and this is how you move on, and you help them, help all the students, help all the researchers to have a small 2-pager, and then all the softwares. So this is going to help prevent it, not catch them as thieves, and then let them spend 1 year doing it again. They lose a lot of time, and the students lose, or researchers lose out. Give them the information beforehand.
I want to say that I am a researcher and a executive editor of Journal of Bangladesh Bioethics Society, Bangladesh Journal of Bioethics. So I use a plagiarism software that is IPPS. I use it.
Ma'am, I would like to share my experience when I was in University of Lasker in England. At the beginning, like in first year, the orientation they gave to us about plagiarism, and everything about the university protocol and explanation it was there. So obviously, when the student is enrolled in university, it's a higher level of education after they complete their O-levels and A-levels or matric or inter. And when they get a degree, so it should be introduced at the beginning in orientation. So that's how their university is the highest in ranking, even in the UK. So I believe in Bangladesh, it will be introduced in all the universities at the beginning of their course start.
Thank you, Trina Majumdar, for your question, for your compliment, for your information. And I am requesting we should introduce the plagiarism syllabus within our syllabus, plagiarism topic within our syllabus from the school level. What's plagiarism? How to? Very small, brief script. I request our Professor Darren Messer, President of the AUSN. They have President of AUSN. He has that university has a lot of Bangladeshi students. I would like to request him to introduce a module of on plagiarism in his university program.
Thank you. In fact, our teacher that's standing for plagiarism is standing right here. So she's Shamima has been sharing this, and in AUSN our materials we have both for classes like this, which are being video recorded, and there are some existing lectures on several related topics of publication ethics that you can find from Professor Shamima Lasker, our AUSN professor, on our video archive. And it's available on YouTube, which under some circumstances you can view. It's open access. So that's how we try and teach, both not just plagiarism, but the whole aspects of teaching. And as Shamima has been the chair of publication ethics of the World Association of Medical Journals, she's the authoritative figure in the world to talk about this topic. I check plagiarism is an issue. It's an issue both in our exams in AUSN, because we have a policy of open source exams. Some of you may know. So your exams will be given open source, so you can quote whatever you do. And in 90 minutes, you're meant to write the answers in your words plus some references with citations. I have received actually some answers written in 90 minutes, which are 15 pages single-spaced text written in the name of the person as their exam response. Do you think this was their own words written in? No. So our guidance is they need to give the quotation and sources of the material they used and show how they used it. But generally people will be writing 4 or 5 pages maybe, or less than that if it's their own words. And the grades will be very similar. We do ask people to only answer the exam when you have access to the internet, high speed, and if you don't, then please wait until you do. Because we want people to show they can integrate knowledge. But the appropriate quotations are also part of the exam process. In the thesis materials and proposals, we ask people to use the quotation. What happens when people plagiarize? We ask them to rewrite. We do not expel them from the university, that's not our policy. But we ask them to write again in their own words and insert appropriate references into that. I've also had a thesis, good comments that a person wrote interesting ideas that from a previous paper that's published. This happens sometimes of their own work. So then just include the quotations of a work, but how much do we quote? We don't have a specific limit on the amount of material that you can include from your own work. and that's our policy, that we find the common ground. In journals, as Shamima has mentioned, it's sometimes a strict policy on the number, that it's up to the common sense sort of interpretation of how long your thesis is and maybe how many percent of the thesis will be quoted. But that's how we do it. So we do have already. Of course, it's foundational for operation of any university, especially across cultures. We have different traditions. Another way that people get by, I'd like to ask Shamima, how do we protect against plagiarism between languages? So this is an issue. Let's say we have lots of papers written in Chinese and somebody uses a translation software, prints it and publishes it in English. How can we check that?
Actually, there is no system here to check the language. Only it is the limitation of these plagiarism checkers, plagiarism software. Today it is called the similarity text software. So it is very difficult. It needs the integrity. One thing, and second thing, the librarian in the world, they are giving a huge amount of money to these software engineer, to make the software to detect the similarity between the language, different type of language similarity.
So, thank you. I think we may conclude the session on plagiarism because very interactive session. We all enjoyed the presentation of Dr. Shamima. Many thanks. Now, and thank you all. And now we would request you, Mr. Amit Verma, to present his presentation. He is from India and he is a national business manager of Walter School. Walter School is a renowned science, technology and medical publishers in the world, and so he will present on transforming the way of research